Okay, a Freilichen Chanukah. How's everybody doing today? So you're going to forgive me, we're going to still remain friends, but there's certain things that I want to start off by saying. And the reason is because you're not going to hear it anywhere else. So this is your only opportunity maybe in your whole life. So here we go. You ready? First of all, we know that on Chanukah, the whole Gezer of the Yevanim came about because we were Nisrashal in the Avodah. You know what Nisrashal means? We weakened off in the Avodah. I want to talk to you for very briefly about a very important Avodah that we're Nisrashal in. Two things. Not just in Shul, there's something called an Avodah of coming to Shul. You know what the Avodah of coming to Shul is? The Avodah is Beveis Elokim nahalech beragesh. To the house of God, we walk with great emotion. That means you have to come to shul in the morning with great emotion. What does that mean? There's a halacha, when you get close to the shul, you're supposed to run or at least walk fast. There's an idea that when you come into the shul, there's certain kavanas you need to have. There's a mitzvah of moira mikdash. There's a mitzvah of moira misha shoichen by. Chida writes, you have to think that you're being noitel rishus from HaKadosh Baruch Hu to be able to daven. Rabbi, so you ready for this? I really apologize to say this, but you have to know this, and please take it to heart. Many people walk into shul, they're carrying like a 64-ounce cup of a beverage. You can't walk into a shul with a drink. I'm nothing against drinking. If you want to drink as much as you want before you come in, go downstairs and drink. You can't walk into a shul with like a coffee, because it happens to be that a shul is not a bar. It's not like a 7-Eleven. It's not a Starbucks. It's not a restaurant. You walk into shul, it's avodas Hashem. You leave the beverages. You want to take a drink, you take a sip. You drink downstairs. You drink outside in the hallway. There's an avodah of walking into shul. Why am I saying it? Because it's Chanukah. So you have to be mechazik in avodah Chanukah. And also because if you don't hear it now, you're never going to hear it your whole life. So I'm doing you a service, even though we're going to become better friends because you heard that. Here's the next thing. You ready? Next thing. Next thing is that moda dress. Moda dress is when a person davens, they have to dress as if they're standing before a very important person. God. So you say, I don't know, I never met him. So imagine you were meeting the president of the company, or you're meeting a very important person. L'chol hapachos, you'd put on a jacket. If you, in all honesty, say, no, if I would go for an interview, I wouldn't put on a jacket. Okay, you got me there. You know, as they say in today's lingo, busted. Okay, got you. But anybody who's in any type of situation, meeting an important person, they would at the very least wear dress in a certain way. So it's a kedai to bear that in mind. Today we're going to speak about Kriyas Hallel on Chanukah. The Gemara says in Masechta Shabbos, "My Chanukah." So the Gemara brings the Brisa on the 25th day of Kislev. There are 8 days of Chanukah. We don't eulogize. We don't fast. The Yevanim came into the Heichal. They contaminated all the oil in the Heichal. And when the Chashmonaim prevailed, they found one jug of oil sealed with the signet of the Kohen Gadol. It only had enough to last for one night. And how many days did it last for?
7.
How many days did it last for? 8 days. So the next year, Lashana Acheres, Kavam va'asam yamim toivim b'Hallel v'Hoida. Yeah, the Gemara says they were koveya a yamtiv to say Hallel and to say Hoida and Hoida. That means they were koveya to say Hallel on Chanukah. Question: are women obligated to say Hallel on Chanukah? Says the Rambam that if the person reciting the Hallel was a katan or an eved or a woman, then the tzibur needs to respond after them, because the woman cannot be moitzi a man in Hallel. Okay, you got that? So, says Rashi, this comes from a Rashi in Masechta Sukkah, women are ein mechuyev b'davar. Now, had it just been for Rashi, you would have thought that Rashi perhaps is talking about Hallel on a regular Yom Tif. But the Rambam codifies this din in Hilchas Chanukah, which implies that when it comes to Chanukah, a woman is not chayiv in Hallel. Okay? That's what the Rambam seems to say. Women are not chayiv in Hallel. And that's the diuk of the Binyan Shloimeh, Reb Shloimeh HaKohen of Vilna, that women are not chayiv in Hallel on Chanukah. You ever hear such a chiddush in your life? Isn't that a chiddush? That women are not chayiv in Hallel on Chanukah. So the Sdei Chemed has the following question. What? Women are not chayiv in Hallel? Are women chayiv to light the menorah on Chanukah? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah, no hazy answers. Even in Congress, you have to give a yes or no answer. Yeah? Are women chayiv to light the menorah? Absolutely. Women are chayiv to light the menorah. If your daughter is 7, she should light the menorah. If she's 12, she should light the menorah. If she's 19, she should light the menorah. What about a married woman? The Mishnah Berurah has a chidush nifla. That ishtay kagufay. It's a pella. What do you mean ishtay kagufay? Since when do you say ishtay kagufay in any mitzvah in the whole Torah? But a married woman ishtay kagufay. By the way, Reb Chaim Kanievsky was given a brand new menorah, but he didn't know what to do because he had a traditional menorah from his wife's grandfather, Reb Aryeh Levine, that he always lit. But this was a beautiful menorah. He's going to tell the Oisher he doesn't want to light it. So you know what he did? He told the Rebbitzin, no problem, you light the menorah. And she lit it on like the corner. Chaim Kanievsky lived in a corner, so she put it on the side. She didn't make a bracha, but the Rebbitzin Kanievsky, an Orthodox Rebbitzin, she lit the menorah. Why didn't Reb Chaim light the menorah? Because Reb Chaim already lit the menorah, but the Rebbitzin didn't. So I'm just pointing out, women are chayiv in lighting the menorah. Why are women chayiv in the menorah? Somebody? Because they also were saved in times of Chanukah. So frektas Sdei Chemed, if women are chayiv to light the menorah, they should be chayiv in Hallel. Isha vaday madlekes. Now, could a woman light and be moitzi a man? Of course she could light and be moitzi a man. So the question is, the kasha the Sdei Chemed on the Rambam is that why are women pater from Hallel? Did they ask this question in the Shir Klali in Yeshiva Darchei Torah? No? Not? Mm-hmm. That's the question. You got the question? Who wants to say over the question? Asi, say over the question.
If women are mechuyev in lighting the Chanukah menorah, why aren't they also mechuyev in Hallel?
Anybody else want to say over the question?
Unless they're smart.
Unless they're Sephardi? Sephardim, we
want menorahs.
because the Sephardim paskin like Tosfos, that Mahajim and Mahajim is only one person in the family. That's right, that's very, very good, that's true. By the way, it's the only time in the whole halacha that Sephardim paskin like Tosfos and the Ashkenazim paskin like the Rambam. It's the only time. Okay, but the kasha is, why are women pater from Hallel? Says the Sdei Chemed. You know why women are pater from Hallel? Because why do you say Hallel on Chanukah? You think you say Hallel on Chanukah because a miracle happened with the oil? We say Hallel on Chanukah because of the military victory and women don't fight in the army. Nashim lav b'nei milchama ninu. What?
But they were.
They weren't fighting in the army then. Oh, you mean Yehudis? She was just cheesing up the general and getting him drunk and then killing him. But she was not fighting in the Milchama.
But you have Dvorah, she was Shofet.
She could be a shofet, but she wasn't fighting. She was singing. Uri Devaira, Uri, Shtabri Shir. They were together. He was fighting and she was singing. That's what, by the way, the Sefer HaChinuch also writes, that women are pater from Zechiras HaMolek because the mitzvah is to fight a war, and women lav b'nei milchama ninu. This is the answer of the Sdei Chemed. The Sdei Chemed's answer is pretty difficult. Number one, because do we say Hallel on Chanukah because of the military victory, or do we say Hallel because of the Nes of the Pach HaShemen? The Emek Bracha, the Talmud of the Brisker Rav, says the din of Hallel on Chanukah is not for the military victory; it's for the miracle of the Pach Shemen. I mean, we light the menorah for the Pach Shemen, so who says Hallel is for the military victory? In fact, I would argue, very simply, when do you say Hallel? When do you say Hallel? You have to say Hallel for a miracle that's L'mala min HaTeva. Was the military victory L'mala min HaTeva? It's debatable. It was Rabin B'yad Ma'atim, but it's not like Hashem changed the forces of nature in that war. L'chayra, the Hallel has to be for the miracle of the Pach Shemen. You don't say Hallel for a nace in the guise of Teva. It's a din in Hallel.
And why 8 days?
We don't say Hallel on Purim, even though the Gemara gives many reasons for it.
But you say every day.
By the way, if you look in the Gemara, my Chanukah, what does Rashi say? Al eza nes kavuha. Al eza nes kavuha. And the Gemara says the nes is the nes of the Pach Shemen.
Hallel is a Haidah, and we say that Al Anisim is talking about the military victory.
Hallel and Haidah, kavum v'asam yom tovim beHallel v'Haidah. Haidah could be for anything. So in Al Hanisim you could say the military victory, but Hallel l'chayra has to be for the Pach Shemen.
Why would we say Hallel for 8 days?
Sukkah the Zimra is also Hallel.
I mean, not halachically. The Gemara says that Kol ha'omer Hallel b'chol yom harei zeh mecharif u'magadef.
I ask a question.
So the Gemara asks, well, yeah, but Psukei the Zimra doesn't have a din of Hallel.
That's the reason they put it, the last five brakim of.
By the way, if you look in the Rishonim ask, do we say Hallel Shalom every day of Chanukah, or do we say Chatzi Hallel? Say Hallel Shalom. So the Meiri says, why do we say Hallel Shalom? Because every day, the same way on Sukkot we say Hallel Shalom every day because there are new karbanos every day, so too every day of Chanukah we say Hallel Shalom. Why? Because the miracle is Neschadesh B'chol Yom. Stam, the simple reading of the Gemara of my Chanukah, it says the miracle of the Pach Shemen, and B'shano ha'cheres kavim v'asamim yom tovim b'Hallel v'Haidah. Seems like the Hallel is for the nace of the Pach Shemen. B'chlal, many ask on the Stei Chemed that even if you want to say it's for the military victory, but according to the Pshat and the Rishonim, Afhin Hoya Ba'isei Anesis, they caused the miracle. So the woman, the lady killed the general. So she was fighting. I mean, she wasn't wearing a uniform, but she killed the general. Okay. So I want to share with you a very big Yesod. This Yesod, Rabbi Yerucham Olshan brings from Rav Aharon Kotler. It's much earlier. Okay? It comes from the Yeshuos Yaakov. Excuse me, the Yeshuos Yaakov. Yeshuos Yaakov was Rabbi Yaakov Orenstein. He says a very important chiddush. You ready for this chiddush? There's a major stira between the Gemara and the Beis Yosef. Do you say Hallel Shalom on Pesach? Only first 2 days. Do you say Hallel Shalom on Shvi Shel Pesach? No. Why? So the Beis Yosef famously says, and your kids are going to come home and they're going to say the Dvar Torah, because Maseh Yadai Tovim V'Yom V'Atem Oimrim Shira. How could you sing Shira when the people are suffering? Like HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to the Malach Yasharis, Maseh Yadai Tovim V'Yom V'Atem Oimrim Shira. This is the Beis Yosef in Hilchos Pesach. So do you say Hallel Shalom on Chol HaMoed? The Taz says, Kal v'chomer. If you're not going to say it on Shvi Shel Pesach, certainly you're not going to say it on Chol HaMoed. Fine, that's the Beis Yosef. But the Gemara in Erechim gives a completely different reason. The Gemara says, you know why you don't say Hallel Shalom on Pesach? Because it's Einoi Chalak B'Karban Yisayim, because you bring the same carbon every single day. So what? The Lumdus is like this. If you bring the carbon every single day, they're not 7 days of Yom Tif. It's one Yom Tif of 7 days. Sukkot is 8 different Yomim Tovim. The first day, the second day, the third day. V'haraya, you bring different karbanos every day. The fact that it's cholak b'karbanoseh means each day is an intrinsically different quality of Yom Tov. Masha'im came Pesach, it's the same carbon every day. It's one long Yom Tov of 7 days. So the Beis Yosef is soiser the Gemara. The Beis Yosef says the reason we don't say Hallel Shalom on Pesach is because Maseh Yadai Tom V'Yam Atem Oimrim Shira. But that's not what the Gemara says. in Yeshiva Darchei Torah in the Shir Kloli, they asked this question?
No, but they brought the Gemara.
They brought the Gemara in Erechim. They didn't ask the stira between the Beis Yosef and the Gemara? That's the question. You hear the question? It's a bomb question. This is the most important question you ever heard in the last 2 minutes. You hear the question? The Beis Yosef is soisa the Gemara. The Gemara says you don't say Hallel Shalom on Pesach because Pesach you bring the same carbon every day. So what's the Beis Yosef saying? Agada to Drush. You don't say Hallel because Masi Yadai Tovim B'Yam. Says the Yeshuos Yaakov, says Rav Aharon Kotler, from this stira we see a davar pele. There are 2 reasons to say Hallel. You could say Hallel because it's Yom Tiv. You could say Hallel because of a miracle. Therefore, we need 2 reasons why we don't say Hallel Shalem on Pesach. The fact that Pesach is a Yom Tiv, no, it's not. It's one long Yom Tiv. The proof is you bring the same carbon every single day. So Alt Yom Tiv, the Gemara in Erechin is discussing the obligation of Hallel because of Yom Tiv. So says the Gemara that Pesach as a Yom Tiv does not obligate Hallel every single day because it's Ein Cholok B'Karbonai Seim. But there's a different kasha the Beis Yosef is bothered by. Why don't you have to say Hallel because of the miracle? Miracles obligate Hallel. To which the Beis Yosef says, Ein Chanami, but people were suffering. And when people suffer from a miracle, you don't say Hallel. So that answers the stira. There are 2 possible mechayvim of Hallel. Yom Tiv could be mechayiv Hallel. Nes could be mechayiv Hallel. The reason we don't say Hallel Shalom on Pesach, Alts the Yom Tiv, is because it's not a new Yom Tiv every day, because it's the same carbon every single day. That's why the Gemara is addressing in Erechin, why isn't the Yom Tiv mechayiv Hallel? The answer is, it's one long Yom Tiv. But we have a different question now. What about the miracle? Shouldn't the miracle obligate Hallel? And the answer is no. The miracle will not obligate Hallel because people were suffering. And now this leaves us with a very important investigation to make. Why do you say Hallel on Chanukah? Is it because it's a Yom Tiv? Or is it because it's a miracle? Do we say Hallel because a miracle happened? Or do we say Hallel because it's Yom Tiv? By the way, the Gemara in Erechin asks, why do we say Hallel every day of Chanukah? To which the Gemara says, B'chol Yom Hayan Nes. Which seems to be very clear. The Hallel is because of the miracle. But then we're left with a question on the Rambam. Why would women be pater from Hallel? Af hein hayu b'oisei hanes. By the way, there's an amazing gra. Yassi, we once said this gra. I think maybe even showed it to me like 9 years ago. The gra is in the Siddur HaGra. The gra says, you know why we say Hallel on Chanukah? It's a tashlumin for 8 days during the year that we should say Hallel that we don't. So the biur on the gra, Shar Naftali, says there are 18 days of Hallel, 2 days of Shavuos, which we say Hallel Shalom. Shmini Atzeres, 2 days we say Hallel Shalom. 2 days of Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, 7 days of Pesach, 7 days of Sukkot. Okay, these are the 18 days of Hallel. And Yom Kippur. You ready for them? The 18 days you should say Hallel, says the Gra, are 2 days of Shavuos, Shmini Atzeres 2 days, 2 days Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, 7 days of Pesach, 7 days of Sukkot. You should really say Hallel on all of them. But on 6 days of Pesach, you can't say Hallel. On Rosh Hashanah, you don't say Hallel. On Yom Kippur, you don't say Hallel. The 8 days of Chanukah are mashlim, 6 days of Pesach, Rosh Hashanah, and Yom Kippur. I'm not sure exactly how the numbers work out. tell you the truth. But the Gra says 6 days of Pesach, 1 day of Yom Kippur, 1 day of Rosh Hashanah, were mashlim on Chanukah. Rabbi Glatstein says, isn't that mashma that Chanukah you say Hallel because of Yom Tif, not because of a miracle? Because if it's a makeup for days that you don't say Hallel, you're not making up for miracles that you don't say Hallel. Rosh Hashanah, no miracle happened. Yom Kippur, no miracle happened. The Chiyuv was for Yom Tif. So if Chanukah is a makeup, doesn't that show Chanukah, the Chiyuv of Chanukah is because of Yom Tif and not because of a miracle? Now it's very interesting, and we're about to finish, okay? The Beis Yosef brings, why do you say Hallel on all the 8 days of Chanukah? Beis Yosef gives 2 reasons. He says, first of all, you bring different karbanos every day. Do you? Do you bring different karbanos every day of Chanukah?
We'll see.
The Nesiim? Did they?
Same korban. You bring this different person, different korban. Same.
Do you bring the different karbanos every day? Anybody?
Same korban.
It's every day, it's exactly the same. But the Beis Yosef says you say Hallel every day of Chanukah. Why? Because it's Cholok b'karbanoseihem. I guess he means a different nasi brought, so it's like a different carbon. They had different, if you look in the Medrash Rabbah Nasai, each nasi had different kavanas, so it's like a different carbon. Which is interesting. That it would be considered Cholok b'karbanoseihem. The oid, the miracle was neschadish b'chol yom. So l'chayra, these 2 reasons in the Rishonim are arguing why we say Hallel on Chanukah. Is it because of Yom Tif, and therefore since it's a different carbon every day, it's mechayiv Hallel every day, or is it because of the Nes? But if you look in Tosfos and Masechta Tainis, Tosfos mixes the 2 reasons together. Says Tosfos, Chanukah dina ligmar Hallel kol ches yamim, kivan shahanes misgadel v'haya kol chad v'chad yom tov. So Tosfos is saying, the fact that there was a new miracle every day makes it a new Yom Tif every day. Not 2 independent reasons. The fact that there was a new miracle every day makes it that each day of Chanukah is a separate Yom Tif. So which comes out, bottom line, what is the mechayiv of Hallel on Chanukah? What would you say? Yom Tif, good. Yom Tif. But why is it a Yom Tif? Because of the miracle. So it's not the miracle is mechayiv the Hallel, even though technically a miracle could be mechayiv Hallel. The miracle is kaivea Yom Tif. The Yom Tif is mechayiv Hallel. Says Aruch Moshe, this would answer the question on the Rambam. Why? The Rambam says women are pater from Hallel. What do you mean? What about Afhin Hoyibay Sanes? The answer is we're not saying Hallel on Chanukah for the Nes. We're saying Hallel for the Yom Tif.
Even if you do.
And women are not chayiv in Yom Tif. Why?
Even if you say
Because it's man grama. What do you want to say?
Even if you say it's because of the nes, the Avin Hoybois and nes by Hadlaka is because of Gzeres Hagman. So it's either not Hashem. Either it be the Hallel and Hadlaka.
1 second, okay? What we're saying is, in general, we brought up this idea that there are 2 possible mechayvim of Hallel. Miracles could obligate Hallel, Yom Tov could be mechayiv Hallel. If a miracle is mechayiv the Hallel on Chanukah, women should be chayiv. But if the Yom Tov is mechayiv the Hallel, women are not chayiv in Yom Tov. And if they're not chayiv in Yom Tov, they're not chayiv in Hallel. So you say, why do they have to light the menorah? Because, listen very carefully, the Gemara doesn't say that it's a Yom Tif to light the menorah. You light the menorah to commemorate the Nes. And Afhein Hoyabay Sanis is mechayiv women in lighting the menorah. Listen to this diuk nifla. You know, the Gemara that says, My Chanukah, the Gemara says, what's Chanukah? Al Eza Nes Kavuha. It talks about the Nes of the Pach Shemen. Lashon acher is kavam v'asaim yamim toivim behalel v'hoida. It's a Yom Tiv for Hallel, it's Yom v'hoida. But it's not a Yom Tiv to light the menorah. You don't light the menorah because it's a Yom Tiv. You light the menorah to commemorate the miracle. So women light the menorah because we're lighting the menorah for the miracle. Women are chayiv in anything we do because of a miracle. But regarding what is it a Yom Tiv? Hallel and hoida. So then it would come out that women would not be chayiv in Hallel. Yeah, that's the answer to the Rambam. Why are women pater from Hallel? Because on Chanukah, the reason we say Hallel is because of the Yom Tif. The Gemara in Erechin says that each day there was a new miracle. Yes, since each day there was a new miracle, each day is a separate Yom Tif. But it's not that the miracle is Mechayev the Hallel. The Yom Tif is Mechayev the Hallel. I guess you could still ask, so why wouldn't women be chayiv to say Hallel for the miracle? It seems like they were never koiveya a Hallel on Chanukah for the Nes. This is the answer that Rabbi Rucham Oshen gives, but it's based on a very important yesod that you should be aware of in general. That in general, there are always two possible mechayvim of Hallel: miracle and Yom Tif. Rabbi Isai, Afreilchen Chanukah.
She says that.